Washington, D.C. studios, this is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum, I'm Hena Zuberi. CAIR Los Angeles is opposing a Beverly Hills plan to fly Israel's flag at schools, calling it insensitive to Palestinian students. This and more coming up in today's show, so stay tuned. A Republican candidate in Texas has caused uproar after posting a video showing her burning a copy of the Quran. Valentino Gomez is running for the 31st district in 2026 and has vowed to end Islam in Texas. Muslims make up roughly 1% of the state's population. In the video, Gomez called America a Christian nation and told Muslims to, quote, leave for one of the 57 Muslim countries. She ended by declaring that she is powered by Jesus Christ. Gomez, who promotes herself as a MAGA candidate, has a record of hateful stunts. She has targeted Muslims, Black people, and immigrants. Observers say that she uses such acts to gain attention for her failing political career. Civil rights groups have condemned her actions as dangerous hate speech. Postal services worldwide are halting shipments to the United States. The suspension comes after President Donald Trump scrapped exemptions on packages under $800. Starting Friday, all parcels will face full tariff rates, sending mail costs sharply higher. Dozens of countries have paused deliveries, warning of delays and higher prices for customers. Until now, low-value packages were spared duties under what was known as the de minimis rule. That exemption ends Friday. Dozens of countries are affected and expect delays. The Trump administration says that the chain closes a loophole that allowed cheap imports to bypass tariffs. For global shippers and small businesses, the new rules could mean fewer deliveries, higher prices, and slower trade with America. Americans are paying more at the checkout counter as major grocery chains pass on the cost of President Trump's tariffs. According to federal data, food prices jumped 3% in the past year. Meat, poultry, fish, and eggs climbed 5.6%. 90% of Americans now say grocery bills are a source of stress. Retail giants like Walmart, Costco, Kroger, and Albertsons admit they are raising prices. Walmart CEO said tariffs will continue pushing costs higher throughout the year. Some items have already surged 40%, sparking consumer outrage. Costco and Kroger have also warned that produce imports from Mexico, Canada, and South America are more expensive because of new duties. Experts say companies are using tariffs to consolidate power and pressure smaller suppliers. Watchdog group Accountable US argues that Trump's policy shifts costs on to families while protecting corporations and the wealthy. Steep U.S. tariffs on Indian goods took effect on Tuesday, dealing a heavy blow to India's trade with its largest export market. President Donald Trump had first imposed a 25% duty, but doubled it later this month to 50% to punish New Delhi for buying Russian oil, impacting exports to the U.S. worth about $48.2 billion. Labor-intensive industries such as textile, gems, jewelry, leather, food, and automobiles are expected to be hit the hardest. Export groups warn that many small and medium firms dependent on the U.S. market could collapse. Some products may become commercially unavailable overnight. In the city of Agra, footwear exporters who supply brands like Zara cited the tariffs as an absolute shock. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has pledged not to yield to U.S. pressure, accusing Washington of what he called, quote, economic selfishness. New Delhi is preparing tax cuts and credit support for exporters while pushing trade talks with the EU and seeking new markets in Africa, Latin America, and Southeast Asia. The Los Angeles chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations, or CAIR-LA, has condemned a proposal to display Israel's flag at all Beverly Hills schools. The plan set for a board vote tonight includes adopting a disputed definition of anti-Semitism, which has been rejected by more than 100 international groups, including Israeli organizations. CAIR-LA says that the move is deeply insensitive to Palestinian students, many of whom has lost relatives killed by Israel in Gaza. Executive Director Hussein Aloush said flying the flag is a political act, not a gesture of cultural recognition. He warned that it conflates Jewish faith with the policies of a foreign government accused of genocide and ethnic cleansing. The group also noted it recently condemned anti-Semitic vandalism at a Los Angeles school, urging police to investigate it as a hate crime. Canadian photojournalist Valerie Zink has resigned after 8 years with Reuters. She accuses one of the world's largest news agencies of betraying journalists by justifying Israel's killing of 246 reporters in Gaza since October 2023. Reuters employs approximately 2,500 journalists and 600 photojournalists in about 200 locations worldwide. In a statement on X, Zink said she no longer could wear her Reuters press pass without shame and grief. She criticized Reuters for amplifying Israel's false claim that recently slain journalist Anas al-Sharif was a Hamas operative. Zink condemned Western media for serving as a conveyor belt for Israeli propaganda, saying it enabled war crimes and fueled the targeting of reporters. She pointed to Israel's double-tap strikes earlier this week, including one that killed 6 journalists, amongst them Reuters cameraman Hussam al-Masri. Zink has vowed to honor the courage of Palestinian journalists in Gaza, calling them the bravest and best to ever live. Israeli troops mock Billie Eilish and Mark Ruffalo, writing their names on Gaza-bound shells. Details coming up next. Soldiers are mocking American celebrities over their support for Palestinians. Images circulating online show 155 mm artillery shells with the names of the singer Billie Eilish and actor Mark Ruffalo scribbled on them. One shell carried the message, "You can go to Gaza." Both celebrities have been outspoken critics of Israel's genocide in Gaza. Eilish and Ruffalo have repeatedly called for an immediate ceasefire and humanitarian access to the besieged territory. They were among hundreds of artists who signed the Artists for Ceasefire letter last year. The two also wore symbolic red pins at the 2024 Oscars, urging Washington to halt weapons sales to Israel and push for a ceasefire. Analysts say that the graffiti on weapons highlights the widening cultural fallout of Israel's genocide in Gaza, where even Hollywood voices have drawn the ire of Israeli forces. The oldest synagogue in Santiago, capital of Chile, was vandalized on Saturday. Red paint and anti-Israel graffiti covered the walls of Bikur Jolem Synagogue, which was built in 1930. Posters of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu with a bullet hole in his forehead were posted around the site. They read, "Your silence is cooperation with Israel's genocide." The synagogue has faced at least 3 similar attacks since Israel's genocide in Gaza began in October 2023. The Jewish community of Chile condemned the vandalism. They said that the country values freedom of worship and warned that attacks on sacred sites harm peace and coexistence in the whole nation. Israeli soldiers murdered at least 76 more Palestinians and wounded 300 in the last 24 hours. The Palestinian Health Ministry in Gaza said 32 people were reported killed since dawn Wednesday, including 8 people waiting for aid. 10 more, including 2 children, died of famine from Israel's ongoing blockade of food and humanitarian aid, raising hunger-related deaths to 313. Amongst the victims were Palestinian athlete Al-Nam Al-Amur. Israeli soldiers shot him near an aid center in Khan Yunis. He had won bronze at the West Asian Club's athletic championships in 2023. Israeli strikes also hit homes and tents in Gaza City and Khan Yunis, killing women, children. The health ministry says Israeli soldiers and American mercenaries have killed more than 2,100 Palestinians seeking aid since May. Israel continues to bombard Gaza City with tanks and airstrikes, flattening entire neighborhoods. Israel has killed over 64,000 Palestinians since the start of its genocide in October 2023, most of them women, children, and the elderly. A shooting occurred Wednesday morning at Annunciation Catholic School in Minneapolis during the first week of classes. Authorities say that the suspected gunman is dead, apparently from a self-inflicted wound. Police confirm that the shooter had been contained and that there were no active threats to the community. Governor Tim Walz called the attack horrific and said he was praying for the students and teachers. Senator Amy Klobuchar said that she was heartbroken. President Donald Trump said he was briefed and that the White House is monitoring the situation. Police, FBI, ATF agents, and federal officers surrounded the school. Students were evacuated and ambulances rushed victims to Hennepin Healthcare, Minnesota's largest emergency hospital. The facility confirmed that it is treating patients but gave no further details. According to CNN, gunfire was the latest in a series of fatal shootings in the city in less than 24 hours. The parents of a 16-year-old boy who committed suicide in April have sued OpenAI. Matt and Marie Rain filed a case in California Superior Court in San Francisco, naming the company and CEO Sam Altman as defendants. NBC News reports that the couple alleged that ChatGPT shifted from helping their son with schoolwork to acting as his suicide coach. They say that the chatbot suggested methods and even offered to draft suicide notes. The lawsuit accuses OpenAI of wrongful death, design effects, and failing to warn about risks. OpenAI told NBC it was deeply saddened by Adam's death. The company said safeguards exist to direct users to crisis hotlines, though protections may weaken in long conversations. Analysts say that the case raises new concerns about artificial intelligence and mental health. At least 30 people have died after heavy rains triggered a massive landslide near a famous Hindu shrine in Indian-Administered Jammu and Kashmir. Officials say rescue teams, soldiers, and volunteers are cleaning debris near Vishnu Devi Temple and searching for survivors. Thousands have been evacuated to safer places. The rain, heaviest in decades, has paralyzed life. Roads and bridges are washed away, schools and offices remain closed, and authorities are urging residents to stay indoors. Indian Railways canceled 18 trains in the region. Mobile and internet services are also down as damaged fiber lines hamper restoration. The government says relief efforts will continue as more rain is expected. Scientists in Switzerland have made a breakthrough in artificial photosynthesis. A research team at the University of Basel has created a plant-inspired molecule that can store 4 charges using light. The work is seen as a way towards producing carbon-neutral fuels. In a statement published in Nature Chemistry, Professor Oliver Wenger and his team said that the molecule could store 2 positive and 2 negative charges at once. The process mimics how plants use sunlight to turn carbon dioxide into sugars. The molecule's special design allows it to work with dimmer light, including natural sunlight levels. While a full artificial photosynthesis system is not yet ready, scientists say that this discovery is a vital puzzle piece towards sustainable solar fuels like hydrogen and synthetic petrol. That's all from our Washington, D.C. studios. Thank you for watching Muslim News. We're a community channel dedicated to bringing you stories you can trust. Please like, share, and subscribe to our content. You can also comment to let us know what you think of our coverage. You can donate now by using Muslim Network TV/donate. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum.